Despite Alex Elmslie being loved for his comedic commentary and nice guy act, in just one day, he managed to lose everything in his 9-year-long career. All because of this 82-page document, filled with evidence so horrible Google Docs removed it for violation. What exactly did Alex do that can no longer be shown to the public?
When you should lay down, like a good dog.
After disappearing for 9 months, on March 20th, Alex responded in a nearly 2-hour-long video.
This video is my response to allegations.
But as it turns out, the darkest parts of Alex's story were yet to come. Unable to sit by while Alex allegedly lied on camera for 2 hours, his ex-girlfriend released a second document. This one a staggering 750 pages long, including testimony from yet another alleged victim of his abuse.
Clear lies and manipulation of the situation.
And I don't understand how he thinks he can get away with that.
And it seems as though everything we thought we knew about Alex was only the beginning. Although Alex jokingly called himself an internet sensation, with almost 2 million subscribers, it wasn't far from the truth. And perhaps this is why it took so many controversies to actually get him off his platforms, at least for a while. One of his most notorious controversies came in 2019, involving his former friend and roommate, Slazo, a respected commentator who was later accused of abuse by his ex. Alex quickly condemned Slazo despite their friendship, seemingly out of respect for the victim. However, Michael later disproved the claims, revealing his ex had taken their messages out of context. Everyone who criticized him immediately apologized for speaking too soon. Well, almost everyone, except for Alex and a couple of people he was involved with.
I don't believe he's innocent. I don't think he's innocent at all.
And despite the backlash Alex got for spreading misinformation, he still hasn't apologized.
But like, how hard is it to say, hey look, I jumped the gun, I'm sorry, my bad, especially as a commentary channel. Credibility is the only thing we have.
Slazo didn't just lose thousands of subscribers, but motivation.
Obviously the drama kind of took the wind out of the sails.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really, I don't know, it kind of took the fun out of the whole YouTube experience for a while.
Meanwhile, many people lost their trust in Alex, but he continued to thrive on YouTube until June of 2024, when he faced similar allegations from his ex, Twitch streamer Alice Hez. They started dating in March of 2023 and broke up around the end of that year. Throughout their relationship, Alice allegedly experienced abuse in different forms, enough to fill the 82 pages of her statement. She also managed to record some of their disturbing interactions on video, and the Alex you'll see is far from the one on YouTube.
Your boyfriend's a fucking famous internet celebrity. But when it actually matters, when you should lay down, like a good dog.
But this is what makes things really complicated. Alice may not have been completely innocent.
Alice has erased any evidence that these events had taken place or that she had been at any point abusive physically, verbally, or emotionally towards me, and this proceeds throughout her entire document, which has since been edited multiple times, which was pointed out by a user on Twitter. Alice's entire story has been built on lies.
What really happened in their relationship, and who is the real victim? It all began in the summer of 2024, when Alice posted a now terminated 82-page Google Docs going over her relationship with Alex in graphic and disturbing detail. The couple started dating in March 2023, where they were giving each other 100% of their attention, time, and effort with no arguments. But one day, Alex switched.
I'm gonna fucking bash your fucking head against the wall with a brick if you don't shut the fuck up.
Why had Alex suddenly become so hostile towards his girlfriend? From the DMs shared, it appeared Alex wanted Alice's full attention, even if it meant it was controlling, unrealistic, and unhealthy. For example, in one message Alex wrote to Alice, "I told you I wanted you to make me feel like I mattered a little more." This was after an argument about a scheduled hangout that Alice wanted to reschedule later in the day when Alex finished his work. Alice claimed she was scared of annoying him because he was stressed out during work hours. But instead of agreeing to meet later or addressing Alice's fear of upsetting him, Alex took this personally, assuming it was an excuse not to see him at all. According to Alice, Alex expected her to be available for calls 24/7 because she worked from home. To avoid any ugly confrontations without neglecting her friends, Alice invited him into her groups and reduced her work hours. But this didn't solve the problem. Things actually got worse. Alex began turning on his camera and shouting at her on calls. He even went so far as to allegedly tell her to self-harm, despite being aware of her past self-harming behavior. At one point he messaged her, "Don't enjoy talking to you." "WTF," Alice responded. "Stop being horrible." Alex then replied, "I'm being dead truthful." In other messages, he called Alice names like idiot, stupid, along with other derogatory words. Alice allegedly also faced breakup threats for merely interacting with her followers' tweets, which she then had to apologize for. Eventually, his demands turned into threats. "I'm going to go refollow all the people I unfollowed for you," he messaged her. "If you gonna be like that, then I can be like that." Shifting the blame to Alice, he added, "You're on purposely being so dense, because I know you know I'm right." Alice later allegedly discovered he was still interacting with people he had previous relationships with, as well as holding on to some mementos, which we'll get to in a moment. Soon, Alice, who struggled with depression, found her mental health deteriorating during the relationship. Despite explaining her depression to him, Alice said she had to approach him calmly and watch her tone, even on days when she couldn't get out of bed. If he reacted badly and screamed at her, she would hang up, tired of the yelling. In one text message, Alice stood up for herself, telling Alex, "I'm done with you." "I don't actually care," Alex responded. "I genuinely think I've completely fallen out of love with you because you simply just don't try." Yet, despite her text and Alex's response, Alice didn't leave. And while this might be confusing from an outside perspective, emotional abuse can erode a person's self-esteem and create psychological dependency on the abuser, which Alice was allegedly struggling with during this time. To further expose this behavior, Alice shared another Discord video call of Alex degrading her.
You think you can just ignore them because, like, well, what's the worst that can happen? I don't know. Your boyfriend's a famous internet celebrity and doesn't trust these people because he has to keep his circle small. Because you might not have anything to lose, because your life might be down the fucking drain.
Despite his outbursts, Alex allegedly continued to behave as if he had the moral upper hand. Alice claimed he would push her buttons until she snapped, and then threatened to break up with her. When she was upset, he would allegedly dismiss her feelings, saying, "I said sorry so you would shut up." However, when he believed he was the wronged party, he would spam her with messages and insults until she apologized. According to Alice, he would tell her he could change her life forever, that she needed him, and that she was nothing without him and what he did for her. "I can do everything I want alone, without any of you," he allegedly said regarding Alice and his friends. And it wasn't just Alice's expectations as a partner that allegedly infuriated Alex, but her ambition. Another argument about content creation led Alex to say, "It's easy to sit there like everyone else and cry about it when you're a jobless freak. Imagine trying to teach like you and my mates how to do this." When Alice explained how rude and offensive he was being, he responded with, "N-word, that's the truth, and end yourself. I just told you how to make 6 figures, so f off." Yes, Alex allegedly believed he knew best how to handle his girlfriend's career, and he had no problem telling her just that.
And it sounds mental. I don't even understand how you could possibly actually follow along to it. Like most of my friends struggle to actually understand what I'm saying. But that's why I'm a professional and you're all not.
You should be grateful that as someone with this expertise, I actually have tried to talk to you about something like that. He would allegedly say when they discussed whether she wanted to stream or make YouTube videos. "You're like everyone else, stupid idiots who think they know better than the only man who has successfully done it all." Soon enough, Alice's initial excitement over career had been crushed. For better or worse, all she had was Alex. And most of the time, according to Alice's memory, it was for the worse. See, according to Alice, Alex would say he meant every horrible thing he said, only to claim he didn't mean it after he had calmed down. However, other times Alice claimed Alex would gaslight her and explain how it was always her fault, insisting that she apologize, fix it, and fight for him. Alice couldn't believe this was happening, that he could mean any of it and still love bomb her and stay with her. She became scared of starting any argument and she began apologizing excessively. It's worth noting that this is a manipulation tactic used by abusers to make their victims doubt their reality or perceptions. But what did Alex want out of Alice? Well, in one Discord call, Alex appeared to reveal the level of obedience he was looking for her to have.
It actually matters when you should lay down like a good f***ing dog.
And this meant that so much as a change in tone or uncomfortable conversation was defiance. For example, in July, Alice and Alex went on holiday to Italy, where an argument allegedly broke out after Alex watched a video about a girl being hypersexual after trauma. Alice took the opportunity to open up about her own SA, only for Alex to allegedly respond that he didn't want to know what had been done to her by other guys. She left the room in tears. He then allegedly threatened to leave and fly back on his own, knowing it was only her third time abroad and that it would make her upset and frighten her. Later, on Discord, Alex messaged, "Bringing up weird shit on our first holiday. You ruin every moment. I have no fond memories with you." And this wasn't the only time Alex allegedly failed to step up as a partner. According to Alice, he also canceled or forgot to come see her on her birthday, opting to watch Star Wars with a friend instead. When she told him it was her birthday, he allegedly went out after the movie to grab a gift and came to her place at midnight. In the document, Alice wrote, "I spent the whole day waiting for him. He invalidates my feelings after I said I got upset about it. I tried to justify it by hanging out properly before my birthday came." Yet, when Alice tried to call him out for his mistreatment, he allegedly referred to her as a melt, UK slang for someone who is a wimp or a coward. And even when the ex did her best to tiptoe around the issues in their relationship, it seemed anything could set Alex off. For example, one night, Alice allegedly told him she was going to bed without any previous argument, and he started a fight because she said it in a bad tone. Over text, he allegedly threatened, "I'm going to end you. I'm going to harm your neck." But as bad as their relationship supposedly was, when Alex decided to move into another house, he expected Alice would be moving in with him. And so, in a moment of bravery, Alice told him, "I'm scared to move in with you because of how you treat and insult me." As for Alex's response, well, it didn't seem he was open to any constructive criticism. According to Alice, he told her to pass in a hole and called her a sad little before going on a text tirade messaging, "Our anniversary. I'll take someone else out next week. You're nothing without me. I don't want you, LOL. I put up with you. Please bury yourself in the garden. Die. Just die in a hole, you dumb." They did, however, still move in together, a choice that allegedly made their relationship all the worse. Arguments, which were already severe, allegedly escalated further. Alice started noting down these incidents, recording them, and texting her mom about what was happening. Then, on the fourth day of living together, October 19th, the conflict allegedly turned physical. Explaining the situation, Alice wrote, "It started as a screaming argument where I begged him to leave me alone and to just stop. I ended up trying to get away from him and he followed me. I went to walk downstairs and he grabbed my hood. I fell on the floor. He told me that I'm not getting away, so I got up and made a run for the bathroom. He gets in my way and lays hands on me and covers my mouth because I'm screaming for him to get off of me. I go to the bathroom and locked it behind me and he screams from the other side, calling me crazy." In the days following the alleged physical altercation, Alice claimed that Alex continued to shout in her face and repeatedly told her to end herself over minor issues. He would allegedly walk away, then come back angrier, unable to leave without screaming at her until she broke down. Alice began to shake in fear for her life every time he came close or was in the same room during an argument. Alex, on the other hand, allegedly still blamed her for their conflicts and started to retaliate in petty ways. For example, he allegedly broke her glasses and threw them away without her knowing. He then pretended to help her look for them. When she suspected he was responsible, he laughed and admitted it, acting as if it wasn't a big deal. Alice found herself increasingly detached from reality as her daily life became a struggle with depression. She wrote in her document, "Some days I didn't want to be near him or be intimate with him, and this would spark arguments and he would get angry at me for still being upset over something he had done a day or a few days before." But after everything Alex had allegedly done to her, what was the turning point for Alice? Well, that occurred on December 28th. According to Alice, she was preparing the house for dinner with Alex's parents because he hadn't cleaned or prepared anything. He kept asking if something was wrong as she cleaned the kitchen, and despite her reassurances that she was fine, he became hysterical, thinking she was lying. Mentally drained, Alice barely responded. When he asked for tasks to help, Alice gave them. However, since Alice had listed more than one, he allegedly overreacted. In response, Alice tried to remove herself from the situation. Yet this only provoked Alex further, as Alice wrote in the document, "On my way out of the kitchen, he targets me in the back and I turn and say nothing." Scared, Alice claimed she texted her friend to pick her up and began packing. Alex followed her around the house, screaming and trying to justify his alleged actions, something Alice had the foresight to record.
It's infuriating at this point. Like earlier, you're miserable about something in the kitchen. All you have to do is say what it is, it's this. It's fine. You don't have to clean up after yourself. Neither do you. You've got bigger fish to fry. I still have the post.
Go away.
You just don't think about anything.
Go away.
After Alice left, she only returned to the home once more, this time to pick up her things after Alex allegedly threatened to throw them outside, which included her $4,000 plus gaming setup. She found everything on the floor, taken apart. Her keyboard was smashed and scattered everywhere. Alex allegedly claimed the keys had fallen off when he was packing it away. However, after their relationship officially ended, Alex's treatment towards Alice allegedly changed as he began pleading for a chance to change and make things better. The YouTuber even sent a 24-minute voice message to Alice, attempting to explain his side.
I don't hold anything. I understand. I do. And I'm sorry for crying. I just, when I start, I don't open up ever because I have kind of shut all of this stuff down for so long. I hadn't cried in forever. The only time I ever cried is when I apologised to you, and that was because I realised kind of how much I'd f***ed up. And, seeing you hurt is just the worst. I don't want that. I don't want to see you hurting. I want that less than anything in the world. And I'm sorry for putting you through so much.
Alex allegedly alternated between these pleas for reconciliation and fits of anger when Alice didn't reciprocate his efforts for months. According to the ex, Alex then began resorting to other tactics to regain her attention, such as following exes and individuals they had argued about, and even attempting to lure her back to his house with mundane gestures like putting out the bins or inviting her for dinner. When Alice refused to engage with him, he allegedly grew frustrated and argumentative. Eventually, Alice blocked Alex, allegedly prompting him to find other ways to contact her, including messaging all her accounts, including one she had created for her cat, Bear, pleading for a phone call to move on. Alex also sent Alice a handwritten note reading, "I want to show you how much I regret and how I am ashamed of hurting you. You are my world, and every day without you has been eye-opening to how you must have felt." Looking back, Alice acknowledged that the relationship was toxic and that she should have left much earlier. However, recognizing the dynamic between a narcissist and an empath, she believed her empathetic nature was exploited. She claimed that despite her efforts to communicate her discomfort and set boundaries, her concerns were often disregarded. Yet Alice also admitted she wasn't the perfect victim. During the months of alleged mistreatment, she sometimes responded with hurtful words of her own in an attempt to defend herself. Alice also acknowledged Alex's own mental health struggles, yet she refused to let these excuse his alleged treatment of her. To prevent further public speculation and potential manipulation of the story by Alex, Alice added that her venting and interactions online were cries for help, not attention-seeking. As for why Alice felt the need to vouch for her own character, well, it turned out that the messages Alex allegedly sent her didn't just pertain to saving their relationship, but saving his image. And when it came to the alleged lengths he would go to protect his spotless online persona, let's just say Alice's reputation was expendable. "If you keep posting stuff, it will end up being a huge problem," he messaged her. "For you," Alice responded. Alex, however, corrected her. "For us." According to the screenshots, he then messaged, "I don't want to talk about you hitting me." And I found the text about the cat. But what was Alex referring to? In the document, Alice claimed that during an argument, Alex made inappropriate jokes about harming and taking the cat away. When she confronted him about this behavior, he continued, and she allegedly reacted by pushing him away. Alex later claimed that Alice had struck him over the cat, which she denied. As tensions escalated over time, Alice admitted that she became less apologetic and more confrontational in her responses due to the ongoing emotional and verbal abuse she endured. After all, as Alex made her well aware, this wasn't the only time she'd retaliated. In the screenshots, Alex also referred to an incident where Alice slapped him, something the ex didn't deny. "Yes, I slapped your face one time. Name a girl who hasn't slapped a huge asshole," Alice messaged back. In the document, Alice claimed that this incident occurred in September at Alex's old flat. She recounted a heated argument in which Alex allegedly hurled derogatory names and insults at her. Feeling cornered and overwhelmed, Alice slapped him in self-defense. She immediately left the flat and confided in a friend about the situation, only to return later out of fear and alleged manipulation by Alex. At the end of the document, Alice added that she has extensive evidence to support her claims, but had refrained from sharing it publicly for legal reasons at this time. She claimed that Alex had attempted to silence her and suggested he would deny everything if she spoke out online. Regardless, Alice concluded by stating her readiness to release more evidence if necessary to counter any attempts to distort or dismiss her experiences. Then, just 2 days after Alice's expose, a second alleged victim spoke up. Kingani, Alex's other ex-girlfriend. In a 2-page document, she claimed they dated in 2017 to 2018, calling it the most toxic relationship she's ever been in. Alex allegedly made her feel insane, like she wasn't herself anymore, and constantly belittled her. In minor conflicts, he even allegedly threatened to end his life. Kingani also accused him of twisting narratives and inserting himself into drama, like the Slazo situation, where he made false claims of SA. That incident was the final nail in the coffin where she cut contact. She alleged this now deleted video Alex made was to guilt her into replying to him after their breakup. He was allegedly pressing a matching bracelet on his lips that Kingani gave him.
You know, I feel punished for wanting to do more, ever thinking that I could, ever believing in myself, you know.
The only time Alex allegedly got physical was during a failed YouTube collaboration. He was getting frustrated at having to restart the recording multiple times. He started shouting and beating his fist on the table, even going as far as to break his microphone. I was scared, so I got up to leave the room, which is when he grabbed my arm to physically stop me. I remember saying, "You grabbed my arm," several times in shock, as if to say, who the would ever grab someone like that? Despite the serious accusations from both Alice and Kingani, Alex disappeared from the internet. It took him 9 months to finally respond on March 20th, 2025. And the day the video was released, Alice created another document and spent 11 days compiling 750 pages of evidence, reflections, and more testimonies. So, who was telling the truth? Among all the unsettling allegations against Alex, he first and foremost clarified that he's not a convicted criminal.
Alice has continued to make false allegations about me to this day and said that she had pressed charges against me in a comment on TikTok. This is a lie, as at no point have I been interviewed, arrested, or charged with a crime, but Alice continues to slander me publicly with these lies.
But Alice was seemingly able to debunk this with just one photo, a victim care card from the police with details matching her statements. Alice also mentioned that she reported Alex for Claire's Law, which allows victims or potential victims to check police records if their current or former partner has been reported for abuse to know if they are at risk as well. And according to Alice, she was able to do this for Alex's relationships in the future. But this doesn't mean that he's been charged, convicted, or even contacted by the police. In fact, the police don't inform the person in question that they are being checked out to protect victims unless they believe further action is necessary and if the victim allows it. And with how horrific the evidence against Alex is, this might have been the case with Alice. In her response to the video, she wrote, "I was given the option to take Alex to court and also get a restraining order because of the threats to kill and harm me. I didn't and don't have it in me to go through court, and looking back now, I should have." But according to Alex, Alice wasn't the victim here.
Alex has erased any evidence that these events had taken place or that she had been at any point abusive, physically, verbally, or emotionally towards me.
And while Alice claimed Alex had threatened her not to come forward with allegations against him, Alex claimed it was the other way around.
As Alice had been threatening and blackmailing me throughout our relationship, and months after it had ended. I had told my friends that Alice had been hitting me. Alice denied this on text when she found out and threatened to sue me if I continued to tell people she had been hitting me.
But was this whole controversy really just a revenge plot orchestrated by a toxic ex? Or was Alice's story being manipulated by her abuser? While Alice admitted to striking Alex once in her original 82-page document, according to Alex, this wasn't just a one-time thing.
She had been slapping, pinching, and kicking me throughout our relationship.
But if we look closely, their text suggests that there's more to it. For one, she only admitted to pushing Alex away in one situation, adding that I didn't randomly start DV for no reason. And Alex even agreed with her. I know, he replied. We were arguing. I did something. I can't remember what. Something dumb like I was in bed naked and you told me to sleep downstairs and I ignored you. On top of the slap she already confessed to, this incident was hardly proof that Alice had been violent throughout their relationship. In her response, Alice wrote, "He claims I said all of this to hide the fact that I apparently slapped and punched him throughout the relationship. That is a fabricated lie. When I pushed him off me a few times, he made me uncomfortable and slapped him once." She even showed her text with a friend asking them to pick her up after slapping Alex. But would the background Alex provided make Alice's actions appear more sinister? Alex claimed that he had a skin condition caused by stress that made his whole body itch.
A few months into our relationship, it had spread to my entire body. Throughout my time with Alice, it got worse. Originally, she seemed supportive, but it quickly became something that she would use to hurt me. Alice started by calling me fat in text and in person, and this was because she wanted me to keep my shirt on, because she did not like my illness.
He said that they would often fight about it. For instance, when he took off his shirt in bed, Alice allegedly tried to make him sleep on the couch, but Alex refused.
Alice turned around in bed and kicked me in my lower back, and I told her to and then she kicked even harder and then started to me in my neck and in the back of my head. Alice had done this so hard that I fell out of the bed while she was still me.
She apparently admitted to this in chat, saying that she didn't just go ahead and start hard.
Alice also went on to send me a message where she said that her me was probably uncalled for.
But Alice's memory of what happened was completely different. She said she took care of Alex's condition, even applying cream for him daily, and screenshots she shared of their conversations didn't expose any traces of disgust from Alice, only concern. However, according to Alice, the rash wasn't caused by stress, but by poor hygiene, as Alex had a depressive past where he didn't look after himself, and this habit would continue as Alice had to remind him every day to use the cream. He wasn't consistent, so his condition worsened. According to Alice, the fight in the bed wasn't because of his condition, but because she didn't want him near her. I'm admitting pushing him away from me was uncalled for, not admitting to kicking because that didn't happen, Alice wrote in her response. Not only does he say this, he denies ever being physical with me. He has spun this 180. This might also be why all of Alex's screenshots to support his claims didn't actually show Alice admitting to kicking him, just him accusing her. Alice did, however, admit to calling Alex fat, an insult she regretted. Alex isn't fat, I just used the word in my insults, for example, fat whale. I said I go just as low as Alex, and getting verbal abuse from Alex every argument is enough to push me there. I took accountability for this and will never stop apologizing for it. But while Alice claimed Alex had twisted the story, he claimed she was the real master manipulator. According to Alex, any denial of DV from Alice in text messages was a lie.
Alice texted me saying she hadn't hit me, and this was after I'd accused her of in our bedroom in person.
And when she couldn't deny her alleged actions, Alex claimed she found ways to excuse them.
Alice continued to blame her on how I had reacted previously to the constant abuse I was under to justify her continuing to hurt me physically for things like jokes or talking to the cat. If Alice didn't have a reason for why she...
Yes, according to Alex, there was no reason for Alice's alleged violence, no matter what way she tried to spin it.
Alice then says she pushed me because I was in her face. This is a complete lie, as I was laying down flat on my back in bed with the cat on my chest, and Alice moved towards me and pushed me.
And so, Alex made her leave the house, saying, I don't want to live with someone who is saying I can't talk to the cat. But was Alice really the instigator behind these explosive fights? Well, according to Alice, the texts and stories Alex used as evidence didn't tell the full story. You pushed me, and I go off me. I wish I could show how aggressive he really was in person. These texts were always after the argument, and he'd gone somewhere like in his office to then text me like this. I'm always in defense. And according to Alice, Alex wasn't just a threat to her. I feel uncomfortable having someone so mean around my cat after he threatened to break my cat's neck. This is why I didn't like him being around my cat. And if all of Alice's accounts about him were true, she had all the more reason to be protective, especially after what she described happened just 4 days into living together, which we covered earlier. In the days after, he kept on screaming to off herself. Yet Alex's video painted Alice as someone who couldn't be trusted, including when it came to her retelling of what happened on October 19th, the day Alex allegedly became physical.
The 19th of October, a few days after we had moved in with each other. There are no texts from this time that even suggest that we were fighting or had been in a fight.
Even days after the 19th, their texts seemed to be from a normal, happy couple. But why would Alice lie? As Alex pointed out, Alice's proof was a screenshot from her notes app. She claimed that she wrote the incident down the day it happened. However, the fact that you can't see the edit history in that app meant that she could have written this on any day. As for why she would do this, well, according to Alex, it was all part of her plan to expose him if he left her.
Alice has created this story because she'd been threatening me for our entire relationship with ruining my life. Alice has carefully selected these screenshots to hide me denying the physical abuse and to paint a completely different story, which is untrue.
Alice stated that when she accused him, he admitted to grabbing her and that he had to stop her somehow. But Alex showed another part of the conversation. "I didn't. I tried hugging you." She responded to his accusations. "I didn't know the exact dates to align when everything happened to me, like moving in, etc., until I had to get the receipts and put everything together in order. Proof that I wasn't planning to do this. This doesn't take away from the fact that it still happened." And according to Alice, it was Alex who allegedly manipulated the screenshots. She claims she used 2 photos from 2 different incidents to try to make it look like Alice admitted he was hugging her. "He has manipulated this," Alice wrote in her response. "That's why I've been linking the whole conversation." In my screenshot on the left is from the conversation I will share about him dragging me, and him saying it was to stop me somehow. In the screenshots, they talked about the incident at a different time. However, Alex allegedly deleted the parts where he admitted to hurting her. When Alice said he could have left her alone, he agreed, and when she tried getting away from him, he replied, "I was super scared. I wasn't thinking." Meanwhile, the screenshot that Alex showed on the right, where he mentioned that he was trying to hug her, was allegedly sent around when Alice moved out of their house after Alex kicked her in an argument. But as always, Alex had a different version of events.
Alice started accusing me for leverage against me and started to say when I tried to talk to her about the issues I've been bringing up throughout our relationship, and has now written a story backwards from this.
However, it seemed his proof doesn't support his claims as much as he might have thought. He said that he didn't hurt her, but if we pause and look closely, he didn't outright deny anything. Instead, he reasoned that he was just joking and playing around. And when Alice left, he begged her to come back in an emotional voice message, desperation that potentially hinted at the truth.
"I get that you're upset with me because I didn't clean the side of the kitchen after I used it or whatever, but oh, come on, man, it's been Christmas and I am busy. I am busy, and I have told you how busy I am, and I forget, and I do forget, I genuinely do forget. So it's not fair to torture me with everything going on. I am terrified of what's going on right now. I might not ever get paid ever again. I might lose all of the money that I haven't been paid. I'm fucking scared."
But allegedly, not having to clean the kitchen was the final straw, and it was Alice who unfortunately took the hit for it.
"I am sorry, on the last night that you were here, that I got angry at you and I pushed you and then I hit you in the behind when you walked away from me. It's not acceptable. I thought at the time that I was being jokey, but not in a nice way. It was mean. It was rude. I was doing it to be oh, come back, and it's pathetic behaviour, and it's not acceptable.
And yet, Alex has always denied the DV allegations to the public. Instead, he allegedly turned Alice slapping him once and pushing him off of her into hitting and assaulting him regularly. Alice also provided screenshots where Alex appeared to admit that he showed all of their text messages to his therapist. However, Alice didn't believe Alex was telling the truth. After all, if he had shown his therapist everything he sent her, Alice claimed his risk assessment wouldn't have shown that he denied physical aggression and only admitted to verbal aggression towards a former girlfriend. But there was something else that the risk assessment exposed. Alex was supposedly at risk from a former abusive partner, and while it wasn't clear if this was about Alice or if his allegations of DV were true, was it possible that she affected Alex in other ways? Both Alice and Alex accused each other of being emotionally abusive.
Alice has even gone as far as diagnosing me as a narcissist in her document, and she claimed that she is an empath.
However, Alex claimed Alice was the one who blackmailed and threatened him regularly.
Alice has erased any evidence that these events had taken place or that she had been at any point abusive physically, verbally, or emotionally towards me, and this proceeds throughout her entire document, which has since been edited multiple times, which was pointed out by a user on Twitter.
In response, Alice provided a screenshot that showed the last time she edited her statement was hours before she posted it. But this didn't mean that she left things out of her statement that would make her look bad. In fact, Alice admitted she would call Alex slurs and tell him he was autistic as an insult, even including proof. I use it back at him to retaliate, and I'm aware I go too far with the autistic comments. I want to apologize to anyone I offended using this as an insult. I was just very ignorant, at my breaking point, and I really do regret using these words. They were very normalized as we both used them. However, this was nothing compared to the language Alex allegedly harassed Alice with. Words that weren't just offensive.
Sorry first.
So I'm a mouth.
Is it generally because you're just brain dead?
Yeah, I'm very brain dead, yeah.
But gruesomely violent.
Acting like this is all just me, and that's something you really need to f***ing fix.
I'm gonna bash your f***ing head against the wall with a brick if you don't shut the f*** up.
But how did their fights stoop to these levels? Well, according to Alex, it all came down to a lack of respect.
Alice then continued to say that she doesn't respect me after I told her that I had been working harder despite the financial issues that I was having at the time. Alice then proceeded to mock me again when I started listing reasons for why I can no longer put up with the constant fighting in our relationship.
But these texts didn't seem to prove Alice was mocking Alex. Instead, it seemed Alice had simply had enough of the way Alex was treating her, writing, "Oh cute, so this is another one of those taking shit out on me." But did Alice expect too much from Alex? Alex seemed to think so. After all, while she complained about him attending a Star Wars premiere for work on her birthday, he claimed Alice already knew about this.
I had to attend work so I could pay for everything, especially due to the situation I was in financially with my YouTube network.
Alice, however, claimed he never mentioned the event was on her birthday. She also added that, despite what Alex claimed, this was not a paid event. All he allegedly received was an invitation and a +1, which he chose to use on a friend rather than Alice. Still, according to Alex, Alice was allegedly overly controlling in the relationship. For example, when he asked for permission to go to a party with his friends, despite having nothing planned,
the more Alice told me that I would have to deal with the consequences if I went, and it made me very much feel like I was not allowed to go.
And screenshots of messages revealed that Alice also called friends weird and losers.
Alice would insult me when I was working, and would insult my friends when I would play games with them, and accused me of not spending any time with her. We were both incredibly toxic, petty and mean to each other, and painting this behaviour as one-sided is unfair and untrue. We had both behaved despicably.
But Alice had her own receipts, which appeared to prove that Alex had not only called Alice's friends weird, but said the same thing about his friends in earlier messages that he suspiciously left out of his video. Alice added that the ominous consequences she said Alex would face if he hung out with his friends were responsibilities. After all, they had just moved in together, and from her perspective, deliveries and unloading boxes should have taken priority over socializing. But according to Alice, it wasn't just Alex's selfishness that made him toxic. It was also his jealousy. When it came to the vacation Alice and Alex took together during their relationship where Alice opened up about her SA and Alex allegedly didn't want to hear it, well, according to Alex,
this is not what happened at all.
In Alex's version, there was no video about trauma that prompted Alice to confide in him. Instead, he claims she randomly blurted out that her hypersexuality caused her to sleep with a lot of people.
I was not really sure what to say as a response, so I told Alice that I didn't like how she had brought this up, and I didn't think it was the best way to start a conversation about something as serious and delicate as this. She didn't open up to me about being I was not even aware of the conversation and what it was about.
So Alex messaged her instead and told her that she was being weird on their first holiday and ruined every moment.
I sent Alice that message because I was incredibly defeated at the time. There was only so much fighting and physical abuse that I could take.
Alice, however, stuck to her version of events, adding, In no way did I say I've slept with many people, but that is clearly how Alex heard it as he reacted horribly. I have not slept with a lot of people, and have only experienced being hyper in one relationship of mine after I was assaulted. Yet, despite the increasingly toxic nature of the relationship, Alex and Alice didn't break up. Alice claimed she stayed out of empathy. Alex, on the other hand, claimed that he tried breaking up with Alice multiple times, but she kept on blackmailing him.
Because I'd asked Alice to stay away from me because I no longer wanted to be in a relationship with her.
Yes, according to Alex, Alice threatened to go to the internet and the police with false reports when he said he no longer wanted to be with her. But something about Alex's statement didn't add up. After all, when they broke up, Alice claimed he sent letters and gifts trying to convince her to get back together. Were these the actions of someone who wanted to break free from a relationship? Again, Alex claimed Alice hadn't presented an accurate version of events. He claimed that he was still under constant threat of blackmail and that Alice asked him to cook dinner and send voice note apologies, love letters, and a teddy bear, but Alice said otherwise. Here again, he lied. He was never blackmailed into staying in the relationship. He begged and begged for me to come back, she wrote in her response. According to Alice, she told him that she didn't want to speak with him at all and even blocked him in multiple accounts. But if that was the case, why was she asking for romantic gestures? Well, according to Alice, she never asked for a love letter. The only thing she asked for was a teddy, her teddy, that she left at Alex's house, not the one he gifted her. However, Alice admitted that she did try to give him another chance. Did I want to leave? No, but I had to. He begged for me to stay in contact with him, which I did out of pity and the harsh reality that it was hard to let go of someone I tried to believe would change for me. And so they tried to repair their relationship. Alex's voice messages and letters were one of his ways to win her back. In one of his letters, he said that she was the love of his life and he would never forgive himself for hurting her. He let his fear and ego control him and will never spend another day as that person again. But if Alice was considering giving Alex a second chance at some point, why had she threatened to call the police on Alex again and expose him as an abuser? While Alice admitted she had threatened to go to the police, she claimed it had nothing to do with blackmail. I never threatened the police for him trying to leave the relationship, she wrote in her response. I threatened him with the police for saying he will put my $3,000+ setup outside while it was raining. In his response video, Alex denied that he played any part in the destruction of the devices.
I told Alice I did not know how this happened, but I offered to pay for new ones to avoid any more arguments, as I was already drained from the constant false accusations, threats, and blackmail.
But Alex was again seemingly betrayed by screenshots that showed him replying, I didn't mean to break them. Yes, Alice had gathered an unsettling amount of screenshots, videos, and recordings as evidence. Of course, this begged the question, how long had Alice been preparing to expose Alex? Well, according to Alex, it had been a while.
And that she had been going through and following my friends months after we had broken up, trying to get their attention to spread this lie, which ended up with my friends asking me to explain this to them after seeing the TikToks that Alice was posting online.
In an argument, Alice stated, I'll enjoy messaging your friends online. Alex later asked her why she posted their private text and discussed their relationship on social media for his friends to see. You backed me into a corner, he wrote. Alice replied, then tell them the reason why. So Alex told his friend the truth. Well, his version of the truth. In a group chat he wrote, we had a lot of arguments that went like that after she'd hit me, etc. Was hoping I wouldn't have to keep reliving this, but I think she wants me to fight her back with everything I've got, but she'd always get 10 times worse if I said she hit me. Naturally, Alice didn't agree with Alex's version of events, and she had no problem setting the record straight for his friends.
When Alice had received the messages from my friends, she accused me of lying. Alice said if I told people she in our relationship that she would sue me, even though I was sharing privately that her posts alleging that I was a convicted criminal were untrue.
But hold on a second. How did Alice know about Alex's private conversation? Well, at least one friend asked Alex to see his conversations with Alice, writing, those messages are really bad. It would help just seeing context. Alex, however, didn't send anything to support his claims, which proved to be a huge mistake. See, Alex's friend wasn't just anyone, he was a YouTuber, Fraser aka iNabber, and online, his opinion meant something. So what did Fraser do with the information he had?
Fraser posted on his Instagram story that I refused to share the private messages I had with Alice with him. But the reason that I didn't share them is because I was worried that they would be leaked, which is exactly what happened after I spoke to him.
Not only did Fraser fully support his friend's ex, but Alex also accused him of leaking their private conversations to Alice and another commentary YouTuber.
Hey, I just thought I'd come in to say that I've spoke to Alice, the ex of Alex, and I've also spoke to iNabber. according to iNumber as well, Alex has sort of ignored people, ignored everybody, sort of gone into like a recluse, not messaging anyone back, not even messaging iNumber back about their podcast that recently failed.
Fraser also claimed that he didn't know that their relationship was abusive, as during the friendship, Alex only talked about YouTube and games. At this point, both Alice and Fraser addressed his allegations, and it turned out they were in agreement. According to Alice, Alex's friends came to her after hearing rumors about his behavior, including a time when he allegedly publicly screamed at Alice at a party. I gave them my side of the story, as they had been told by Alex that I hit him all the time and that he would sue me. I was not sent their whole conversation. I was only shown him saying I hit him all the time. I bring that up to Alex as it was not true, and I was asking him why he would do that. He first denied this until I show him proof I know. This was not to isolate him from his friends. They chose to cut contact with him, and they saw and heard what he had done to me. And yes, I told them what I had also done, name-calling, the slap, etc. Meanwhile, Fraser posted a document with 31 pages explaining his side of the story with evidence. He clarified that when Alex and Alice were still together, he didn't know that the relationship had become deeply toxic. I firmly believed he was happy with her, Fraser wrote, but mainly that comes from viewing stories and videos. But in January 2024, Fraser noticed a change. Alex seemed a lot angrier and sad than usual, but would never tell us anything, so me and his other close friends were trying to find out if they had broken up so we could help a guy who mentally did not seem in a good place at all. The Discord chats that Alex has shown were a part of their attempts. However, when Alex opened up to Fraser, lawsuits and lawyers were repeatedly mentioned. In one message, Alex wrote, "If we can keep this between us, I'd be very grateful, because I have to use everything as evidence for damages if it goes to court." Fraser agreed despite the sinking feeling Alex's response gave him. I feel, in context to everything, anyone would feel threatened here. If I'm being honest, I did feel like I was being silenced in a way. But he didn't know how bad it was until Alice shared sickening allegations with his friend. Fraser immediately confronted Alex, who replied that he was working on his response, a video that would take him almost a year to release. I felt lied to, especially after seeing 70+ pages contradicting everything this man said to me for 2 to 3 months. I was told a response was coming, it never did, and I did block him after this. Think about this. For 3 months, you've seen screenshots, TikToks, everything about this, and you've tried your best to resolve it privately and work out what is going on. And then it comes out, and it's even worse than you originally thought. After giving Alex chances to explain his side and receiving nothing in return, Fraser expressed his support for Alice. As for the YouTuber Fraser allegedly leaked information to, screenshots showed them contradicting Alex's claim. Yes, 100% you never leaked anything personal to me about Alex. The only thing you ever mentioned was your podcast with Alex, which wasn't about Alice or anything he said to you. According to Fraser, the only thing he was guilty of was doing his best to listen to victim stories and what were the lies and what aren't. It felt like I was putting together a puzzle of abuse, as horrific as that sounds, he wrote. But if this was a puzzle, one piece was still missing. After all, what had Alex been doing to survive during his almost year-long hiatus from this internet? Well, according to Alice, Alex had never really left. He was simply hiding in plain sight.
Alice posted a series of comments on TikTok claiming that every YouTuber who has similar thumbnails is working with me or for me. Fabricating stories that I am employed by any YouTuber who makes commentary videos is ridiculous and untrue.
Still, Alice claimed that the YouTubers knew who they were. And when Cataclysm, another commentary YouTuber, tweeted that she wanted to expose someone so bad, Alice replied, "I'll do it." And it wasn't long before their target became clear. Like Alex, Jesse, also known as Danky Jabo, is known for commentary videos. The speculation that he was still close with Alex began when fellow YouTube commentator Cataclysm called him out on a live stream, detailing Jesse's response when a friend of Alice confronted him for still following Alex, messages Alice then sent Cataclysm.
"Is there a reason you still follow and work for an abusive piece of shit?" To which Jesse, Danky Jabo, replied and said, "I'm so sorry, mate. I'll unfollow the annoying orange right now."
After that, suspicions over Jesse and Alex's relationship spread across the internet.
When Alex stopped posting because of everything that happened, Jesse then started posting very much in the style of Alex.
They used the exact same thumbnail design. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just more proof that he mentored him or taught him.
Jesse, however, shut these rumors down with a response video.
But Cataclysm still continues to use the very thumbnails that she's criticizing me for to this day. By that logic, is she also being mentored by Alex? No, obviously not, because it's just a YouTube thumbnail. And like I said, I haven't spoken to Alex since my last payment from him. He has nothing to do with my channel.
Alex also pointed out Cataclysm's hypocrisy.
Then why, until a few weeks ago, did Cataclysm still follow me on TikTok?
The YouTubers involved have since made apology videos, and Cataclysm not only deleted her video and tweets about Jessie, but her Twitter account as well. Meanwhile, Alice had much less to say. I had multiple sources telling me that he was still working with Alex, she wrote in her response. I was just repeating what I was told, and I believed it. To say I had anything to do with this is reaching. It was weird for Jabo to dismiss something so serious, that is why I repost. To claim I made this conspiracy and that this is me harassing him is not true. In the end, it seemed Jessie had been caught in the crossfire, costing his growing channel thousands of subscribers. As for the others Alex was allegedly working for, the only thing Alice knew was that the thumbnails were indicators of his work. He claimed he made a lot of friends' careers and treated them like guinea pigs with certain videos and thumbnails, she claimed. But what about Alex's other accuser, his ex-girlfriend, Kingani? Well, while she claimed she cut Alex out of her life after the Slazo incident, Alex claimed otherwise.
Anna wrote in her document that it was the most toxic relationship she had ever been in and that she was lucky to get out of it when she did. But we had stayed in contact for an entire year after.
Of course, a number of Alex's friends and peers cut ties with him after Alice came forward with her allegations last year. There was, however, one person who stuck by his side. But after everything Alex had allegedly done, who could possibly defend him? According to Alice, another one of Alex's ex-girlfriends reached out to her privately. Her name was Jess, and she seemed to empathize Alice's experience, messaging her, I wanted to warn you about Alex so bad, but that boy is a narcissistic psycho. Jess and another ex who Alice didn't name even agreed to write a police statement for Alice, who was planning to contact the authorities at the time. But behind the scenes, Jess was sending their conversations to someone else, Alex, and what she shared has serious implications against Alice's statement.
I later found out when my ex-girlfriend Jess messaged me that Alice had told Jess that she had been building a folder on me since January.
And just like that, Alice's continued communication with him after their breakup suddenly made perfect sense.
Where she antagonized me, threatened me, and continued to mentally abuse me so that she could knowingly put my reactions into her document that she had started building in January.
It was a big accusation, but was Alice really using Alex that whole time? In her response, Alice wrote, I want to believe he manipulated her into doing this, but that's their business and has nothing to do with my story. Although the screenshots given twists my narrative. So Alice shared her whole conversation with Jess. The screenshots showed that Alice had been building up the courage to reach out to the police since January. However, she didn't take action until May, when she was no longer in contact with Alex. I need to report him to the police first realistically before anything is released, but I want to know how horrible this guy is, Alice messaged Jess. He shouldn't have a platform and he shouldn't be making videos on abusive people when he's one of them. Considering how many women have been failed by the justice system and how much influence Alex had online, it wasn't hard to understand why Alice needed time to go public. After all, in the end, everything that could go wrong definitely did. After Alice came forward, one of Alex's fans tweeted, "You've been manipulated by her. She's a classic narcissistic abuser." Also, once they broke up, she posted loads of TikToks saying, "I'm genuinely insane, I will ruin your life forever," while smiling, and then deleted them and started playing the victim. Alice responded denying that she posted any TikToks with those statements, and the tweet was later deleted. However, this didn't stop another user from coming forward with the same claims. But was this really from another person or just from another account? YouTuber Tamimi pointed out that these tweets were posted around the same time.
So we can roughly assume that not only was this tweet made on the same day, but within about an hour of another similarly worded tweet.
But what was most incriminating was the fact that Alex used both of these screenshots in his response video. Screenshots that were captured only a minute after Alice responded.
And there's a couple screenshots like this. Either somebody provided the screenshot to Alex, or he was like waiting for her to respond and watching her every move.
Alice also noticed that some of the accounts defending Alex or defaming her had similar usernames as shown by her block list. She tweeted, "Stop making fake accounts for me. This is like your 50th one." Another user replied, "There's no way this isn't Alex at this point. Man is on some serious damage control." However, according to Alice, this wouldn't have been the first time that a fan defended Alex from multiple accounts. See, Alice believed the person behind these accounts was the same user who admitted to defending Alex from multiple accounts, blaming it on their autism. However, the fan came out and stated that the more recent tweets weren't from them, leaving the identity of the person behind these tweets a mystery. But while it seemed like Alex and Alice had laid all of their drama out for scrutiny of the internet, according to Alex, there was one thing Alice allegedly intentionally hid from the narrative: infidelity. When a Twitter user asked Alice if cheating was at the root of their arguments, Alice replied that this wasn't the problem. This, according to Alex, was one massive lie.
The entire conversation Alice references here is about cheating, and this is why she doesn't include or show the tweet and the hundreds of text messages that prove that she is lying once again, as she gaslit me and insulted me for hours and is now trying to make people believe an entirely different story.
This is the conversation that Alice chose to show. Here we can see Alex's controlling behavior at its worst, stating that she will die for liking that tweet. But according to Alex, crucial context was missing.
After our first date, Alice liked a tweet from a follower that said they could treat her better. As you can see from the screenshot of this conversation, I was not trying to control Alice. I was asking why she had liked a tweet that I felt that was disrespectful.
But while liking a flirtatious tweet from a fan can be inappropriate, did it really count as cheating? And did it warrant threats to someone's life? Alice said that she liked tweets that mentioned her, and what the fans said wasn't any different from the attention she typically attracted online. It's a random saying they can treat me right, aka 80% of my DMs. And in her response, Alice still believed that she didn't do anything wrong. He assumed the tweet meant that they can treat me better than Alex, and not what it really said, saying, I can treat you right. He uses this in a whole segment claiming it is cheating. This is not cheating. Liking a tweet from a fan is not cheating. She added that, unlike what Alex claimed, this hadn't happened right after their first date, but months later. As for why liking a tweet had angered Alex this much, well, Alice believed it had nothing to do with Alex's perception of infidelity, but his reputation, which might have taken a hit if fans saw she liked the tweet. After all, according to Alex, he wasn't the possessive one in the relationship.
Entire relationship, Alice had full access to my phone, went through my following and text messages, and would threaten me and hit me if I refused to hand over my phone or unfollow people who I knew.
And she was allegedly sensitive when it came to other women.
Because Alice had unfollowed them on my phone, I did not follow many girls I had had relations with.
However, there was one time when Alex refused to hand his phone over. Resistance Alice wasn't used to receiving.
Alice would come in my room and take my phone off me on random occasions daily to go through my socials, which she admits to in this document.
A closer look at these texts reveal Alice didn't admit to taking his phone daily. She just asked why it was a problem when it wasn't before. Did Alex have something to hide? The YouTuber admitted, yes, he did.
I hadn't deleted the messages with my friend, so I refused to give Alice my phone because I knew if she found out I had told anyone about the abuse, things would get worse.
But yet again, this was completely different from Alice's account. He claims I had full access to his phone the entire relationship. We made it clear that each other could look at phones whenever to put our trust on the table. Not once did I ever use that offer until the 5th of December, where this takes place. On that day, Alice noticed that he suddenly hid his phone and put it on his chest when he saw her. So she asked to look at his phone. Alex refused, and it was only after she walked out of the room that he handed the device over. On the phone, Alice found a hidden photo folder with photos of women Alex was seemingly intimate with around the time he started dating Alice, and photos of his ex. Alice confronted him about the photos with his ex and asked why he was stalking her. He allegedly shrugged her concerns off. Alice claimed this was as heated as the argument got, and that, unlike what Alex claimed, she never became violent over his phone. Yet her insecurities in the relationship remained. She wrote, "In the start of the relationship, I made it apparent to Alex that I was uncomfortable with him following any pages that were to do with SW. I don't care for anyone he was friends with, just accounts that made me uncomfortable and still following exes/people he slept with." And according to Alex, this insecurity continued even after they broke up.
Although we had been broken up for months at this point, Alice was still messaging me about the girls that I had followed on Instagram or friends that I had refollowed. Alice sent me this message saying that any girl that I speak to would be ugly anyway.
But while Alex used these messages to show how controlling Alice was, Alice claimed she was simply confused as to why he was continuing to break boundaries when they were trying to get back together. She also explained that calling any future girl Alex would speak to ugly was a toxic dynamic dynamic in their relationship that developed from arguments where Alex threatened that he would follow back girls he had relations with and told Alice he can find better. That is why I tell him he can't, Alice explained. Yes, their relationship had become defined by toxic games. So when Alex accidentally sent her a photo of another woman, Alice sent a photo of another man in retaliation. But as dark as their dynamic had become, was there anything that came out of this? Throughout their relationship, Alice advised Alex to seek help. When they broke up, Alex assured her that he started speaking with a therapist. It was only in July of 2024, a few weeks after their issues were publicized, that Alex was diagnosed with BPD, or borderline personality disorder, which severely impacts a person's ability to regulate their emotions. This ultimately impacts how a person feels about themselves and their relationships. But even before Alex was diagnosed, he was familiar with BPD, all thanks to Alice.
Alice had told me that she had borderline personality disorder, but that she was self-diagnosed. I am confused why this has not been mentioned at any point in this document, as it was a big part of our relationship and how we interacted with each other.
Despite Alice being open about it and even sending a source for him to learn more about BPD, from text messages he didn't appear entirely accepting, and soon it became a problem.
So I was being told that every issue was the result of this mental illness. I was worried that if I tried to talk about my problems, it would upset Alice or trigger her.
When Alice saw this part of the video, she was horrified. The fact that he has painted me out to be harming him, to then say I blame it on mental health, is disgusting. Alex again then shows no proof of this, and I want to get it across that this lie is vile. She also made it clear that she wasn't self-diagnosed and claimed that Alex used BPD against her, calling her a mentally ill freak. In messages, he even appeared to admit that he was the one who used Alice's BPD as an excuse to hurt, insult, and blame her. And now that he shared his own diagnosis, people are calling him out. As one user put it, "I have BPD. Absolutely no, you don't use it as an excuse to abuse someone. This is why people ostracize us, because they may think we all act like this." This leads us to another issue viewers have with his response. See, Alex barely addressed what he did wrong in his relationship with Alice. Instead, he resorted to generic apologies.
And I deeply regret using such horrific language, and I shouted at Alice, and I insulted her, and this is something that I deeply regret doing. I deeply regretted the way I had been acting, and I apologized constantly to Alice for how I had behaved.
One viewer questioned, "Shouldn't you be addressing what you did?" Even in the follow-up document he posted after Alice published her response to his video, Alex repeated his previous claims while seemingly ignoring the most conclusive pieces of evidence Alice presented, from incriminating text messages to disturbing recordings.
I was trying to hurt you. I was trying to test you. I was constantly putting you through tests, telling you not to play games with your friends, telling you to make YouTube videos instead of doing what you were already doing. I did it as a test to see how much you cared about me.
The only new statement he's made is that Alice didn't watch the video despite that she responded to every claim he has made in detail. A comment suggested that what Alex has been doing is textbook DARVO, which stands for deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. It's notorious as a tactic commonly used by abusers to get away from accountability. But by the looks of the comments on his new uploads, viewers aren't going to let Alex off the hook anytime soon. Is this your attempt at a comeback? How many comments is he erasing? On the other hand, Alice never mentioned her mental health problems when admitting her mistakes, and while she explained that she had hurt Alex out of retaliation, she made it clear this wasn't an excuse. Many noted that her behavior could be reactive abuse, which is when a victim reacts to the abuse by adopting their abuser's behavior. But some believe this could be the case for Alex as well. As someone suggested, both people can be abusive toward each other when both of their toxic behaviors overlap. And maybe that's why the internet remains divided on who the real victim of this story is. I'm so sorry for you, Alice. It takes him this long to respond, and he expects people to go to his side after what he's done to you. Always on your side. None of this is evidence. You clearly bother the man on a daily basis. Even his fans are aware of the stuff he was going through. His frustration says it all.
I don't know if it's fair to say that one is worse than the other, especially considering both of them admit to acts of physical violence and verbal abuse.
After all, as the disturbing allegations that have come out of a relationship that appeared perfectly happy prove, you never really know what's going on behind closed doors.